So DeSean Jackson got signed by the Rams. Kind of surprising. I think a lot of people thought that Jackson was just not going to be out of the league. But no, he is still in the league. He gets signed with the Rams. And we actually don't know how much money it's for. I've been looking around. I can't find any reputable source giving me any figures whatsoever, so I have no clue, and that does affect my opinion. Usually I don't like making videos until that number comes out, but as of right now, it hasn't came out, unless it's come out, since I recorded this video, but, before I post it. But I want to start off with this play, because I actually do think that, people keep saying he has nothing left in the tank. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, the last we saw of him was week 16 after an injury, and he had a huge play. So on this one, it's going to be a cover 3 zone, and you see Jackson's route, and he's going to run this one pretty cleverly. So watch. I mean, you see the ball is snapped. It's going to be a play action, and I like see how it looks like he's going to be starting to run towards the top of the screen? Well, this is doing a good job of not getting the safety involved, essentially. Jackson wants the safety to be away from him, so he can kind of do stuff like this. He is a good route runner. He does have high football IQ. Don't ask his opinion about Hitler, but, on the field, he definitely has high IQ. And watch what he's able to do. He runs down towards the bottom of the screen, and you see this is going to be a good throw, and Jackson has the speed to finish it off and get a touchdown. And in classic DeSean Jackson style, runs all the way over and celebrates instead of just going into the end zone. But yeah, I mean, that's something that he can do. He is a good route runner, and he still does have some speed. Like, this one's another good example of, he's going to use his speed on this play to be a little bit effective. And I should mention, all of these plays are, in fact, from 2020, so just last year, the most recent year we have tape on. So I'm not going way back, because obviously we all know he was a great player in his heyday. But, obviously the concern is that the guy is 34 years old. So, in the middle of the season, he's going to turn 35. Does he still have it, especially for a guy who relies on speed so much? But on this one, it is a cover 1 play. He's going to be trying to run towards the sideline, which means the safety probably won't get involved. The question is, will he be able to outrun his assigned man? And once this play starts, it was a bad snap, first of all. Wentz makes this throw. Maybe that threw Wentz off a little bit, but there was a little bit of separation right here. You do have to think, hey, I bet Matt Stafford does make this throw. Carson Wentz isn't going to. The ball is actually way over Jackson's head. And one thing I should say about DeSean Jackson, especially at this point in his career, is he's not going to go up and try to get a bunch of those jump balls. He's going to protect his body. That's not really the best example, but just in general, he's the kind of guy where, you're going to have to hit him. You're going to have to make the accurate throw. But you know what? Stafford can do that. And another thing that does factor in is not only does DeSean Jackson, have a little bit left in the tank, in my opinion, but really more than anything is that he still has the threat of the deep ball because he's DeSean Jackson, and guys are still afraid of getting burned deep by Jackson. So on a play like this, it's going to be a cover 3 zone, and you see the way this concept works. You have a receiver who's going to run a deep route. That's not Jackson, a different receiver who's running a deep route to push the safety further deep. And then Jackson kind of just runs a little bit underneath, and hopefully he can get open. So watch. You see once this play starts, notice really that corner right there. Your typical job is to make sure you kind of stay further deep than DeSean Jackson. You want to stay further towards the sideline, but he's way further over there, which to me shows that he is afraid of maybe just DeSean Jackson running deep and getting by him. And now when Jackson cuts over the middle, he's going to have plenty of space. As you see, Jackson is able to run over, even makes it kind of a tough catch there. So really good play, I think, that to show how his speed, his threat of speed, can sometimes be half the battle right there. Like, this one's another good example. This one's kind of a mistake by Washington, if I'm being honest, but I think part of it is because of Jackson's speed as well. He's going to be running an out route. This is against quarters coverage, but again, watch the mistake. So as you see right when this play starts, 20 for Washington. He's running, I would say, too far away from the sideline, which sometimes you want to do, in fairness. Sometimes you do want to, basically open up your hips and say, well, listen, Jackson, if you're going to try and run towards the sideline, I just trust that, it's going to be a tough throw. I can come back and make the play. But I think if you are doing this, you kind of have to have your hips turned closer to Jackson or just be closer to him. But the issue is that you can't be closer since Jackson is fast, or at least he has the perception of being the kind of guy who can blow by you. And obviously you'd rather get burned for 10 yards than burned for 70 and a touchdown. But then when DeSean cuts, I mean, he just gets completely wide open. That's just a complete, not a great job there. But he got wide open, and the reason that defensive back fell down was because of the fact that DeSean Jackson, partially because of his speed. That's something you have to be fearful of. And here's another example where what's going to happen is it's going to be a very similar thing, and this time it's going up against his now current team, the LA Rams, which I will be honest, there is a part of me that just feels like this seems like such a football thing of we say, someone shows DeSean Jackson in a Rams uniform and we're all like, he played for the Rams? When was that? Like, that totally seems possible. I'm not denying it. But I also think that there is a chance it could work out. What's happening on this play is it's going to be a cover 3 zone, and you see Jackson's route, it's an out route. And watch how once this play starts, again, the defensive back, it's a similar thing. You're just turning your hips and trying to get deep so quickly because you are afraid of getting burned deep. You also have safety help, but despite that, there's just that threat of Jackson could get open deep. We can't let that happen. And you can sort of play off of that. And I do wonder to some degree if that's what Sean McVay sees in DeSean Jackson is, hey, we can use the name on his back to actually help us out. We can use his brand recognition to actually make him a better receiver, because even if he doesn't have the speed, if people thinks he does, well, that can be good enough. That's something you can work with. And watch, Wentz makes this throw, and they're able to get he was wide open, because when he cut, you're trying to get deep so quickly that when Jackson does cut, you're just in a bad situation. So I do think this is probably a good, buy low style move, and then hopefully he can get more value than people are expecting. Getting a burner could help as well. He's just someone who might be just conditioned enough that he can run deep 20 times a game, and that can be good enough also. Some people are concerned about whether you think it's unfair or fair. He has had issues in the past. There have been reports that he's had locker room issues. Who knows how true those are? But to me, I kind of feel like that thing's always overblown. And more often than not, the more talent you have, the better off you are. So I probably like the move as long as it's like a $1 million, $2 million deal. If they're giving him $5 million, I think that's, you're giving him way too much just for a flyer. This is a good flyer move, a good buy low move. But there's a very high likelihood that a 35-year-old wide receiver doesn't make that big of an impact in the NFL. That's just the way it is. But I don't think there's a 0% chance that he's effective either. I mean, the main reason he didn't get much done in Philly was just because of injuries, not because of when he was on the field. He was an asset. He was someone who helped. Maybe it wasn't amazing, but was good. So I could see it working out in LA. I trust Sean McVay more than I trust myself. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this move? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.